What'd you do to your nose? What are you doing to your nose? Uh, sister, sister. Here, you lay down. That's it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Here's your thing. Okay. You lay down right there. And here's your soft blankie. Oh. Good morning. Hello. It says I have two here, but I'm seeing no chat at all. There's Shannon. Good morning, Shannon. It's been a tough time getting this going. Hi, Angie. How are you, honey? I thought I might come on and show you how to do an easy block and to do raw edge applique and do it all in one step with the, put together. I'm fighting YouTube again. Yes. Yes, I have no stream. I don't know if I'm fighting YouTube or if I'm fighting my satellite company. But it's fixing to snow here, so we're, that could be it. I have no clear I have a clear signal. It's showing me a clear signal, but it buffers. Like that. And we just went out and come back. Hi, honey. How are you? Angela, how are you? Uh-huh. Oh, well, good. Good deal. Oh, my goodness, Angie. Today, or when are you going to have this done? Are you? Well, I thought I would start a cottage rose pattern, and I didn't get that on the stream name now, but and it's just my own. I didn't have a pattern. I just decided I would make a pattern, and I'm using scraps to demonstrate this today, but everything I do, I will have down below on what you would need. This doesn't have to be big. I'm not going to tell you the sizes stuff to use because you all can decide that. You can make a 10-inch block, a 12-inch block, whatever you want. But, I thought I'd show you how to cut the blocks and well, I'll keep you in my prayers, Angie. I know we're buffering a little bit. I can see it flashing, but this is going to be quick. I've got the baby here. You'll hear her in the background, and I may have to stop and change a diaper, but we're going to try and get this done. I think it's going to be easy. So, yes, I love those. I love those, Angela. I need to make some of those too for Christmas. But I don't know. I just got in the mood to do a block, and I love raw edged applique. And so this whole quilt will be raw edged. The blocks will be put together with batting, and they will be raw edged. So it's going to be the quilting will be the applique. I think it'll be real easy to do. I'm waiting for some others to come in. I had several on another stream that I thought would probably come in. They may still be over there waiting on me. Okay, great. Well, it's really easy. Raw edge applique is so easy. The secret to raw edge, if you want it to fray, and this I want to fray, but raw edge is you either zigzag it down or I see you over there peeking at me. No, you stay over there and play. You play over there. The secret to raw edge applique is either to zigzag it right around the edge of your pattern, or to come inside of it and let it fray. And this, we're going to come inside of it and let it fray. So each of these patterns, this pattern has four pieces, but we're going to cut two of the big one. And then from there, we're going to bring it down. So, but I think I'm not sure about that because I have not made this. This is a new pattern for me. The one I saw had open framed, and it was sewed down. You had to cut the outside, you had to cut it out and then try to sew around just in that circle. I'm going to put it down and I'm going to sew an inch around this. Then I'm going to put this one down, sew an inch around that. I'm not going to do all that cutting. I skip the cutting if I can keep from it. Sometimes I tear my blocks. I've got a couple here that are ready to go, and I simply tore them out. I didn't, this is not because you're going to fray the edges. You don't have to have, you don't have to have a perfect edge. You don't. my grandbaby's sitting over here agreeing to everything I say. It's so cute. And that's right. She just is shaking her head up and down. It's so cute. So anyway, I would do, and I guess we'll start. Gigi, what? Gigi, what? You hear that? I've got an alarm going off downstairs, and she's. I have embroidered. My hands won't do it anymore. So this is so simple. Hi, Gilly. How are you, honey? I'm just sitting here waiting to see if somebody come in. We're gonna do a little quilting this morning. If I can get my camera to focus in on the sewing machine, and I think I can, and if the baby cooperates. If not, I will have to end it and make a tutorial, but I don't want to. I wanted to come online this morning, and we may buffer a little. It's just part of my lives. I've got wonky lives. That's all I can say right now. They're just wonky. But I have brought everything in. I can tilt over here and show you right here. I don't want you to be in it because I'm going to be backwards. But there's my iron. And I have my sewing machine behind me. So we're going to just be doing some cutting and pressing. And you won't see the pressing because I'll just reach over here and do a quick press. And, that kind of thing. So pieces here. I just brought scraps in. I laid some reds out to see about doing a red one. I have two pieces already cut, but I'm going to show you how to cut one, and then we'll start from there. And I've got some red scraps and some pink with some, that I'm going to use, and I am just going to use up my scraps. I'm not going to try to make this perfect. If you want one that's perfect, you get you some white backing so that your backing is all the same. My backing is going to be scrap material. And when I get done, I'm going to have 9-inch blocks on the back. And they'll all be different tones. Because I'm just going to, oh, and I have one more pattern here. I have a leaf pattern, which I thought we might want to put on it. Yes, we do. She said no. So anyway, graphic quilts are lovely and they're easy. You can just go pick out material. I've got a piece here that is a half yard. I bought this at a yard sale or something. I don't even know where I got it. And then I've got some red checked. I have these florals, which are already torn, which will make a pretty backing. They don't have to be all the same. I may use this floral, even though I'm cutting kind of a green piece. I don't know. But for my other piece, because you want them to kind of match a little bit. But the piece I've got down is kind of a blue-green. This piece, it'll read green with what you put on it. It is kind of one of the tea-dyed, or not tea-dyed, I'm thinking paper. Oh my goodness, I'm not going to find the word. For the material that is like this. Like the hand-dyed material. The anyway, and I leave the raw edge on because we're going to do a 1/2-inch seam on my blocks because we'll cut around that. But anyway, this is, let me turn it around. I've cut a straight edge on that side, and we'll pull it around here, and I'm going to cut a 9-inch block. I've torn this edge, but it is 9 inches, and I'm going to show you how you can, I don't care if they're wonky because we're going to do an inch seam. Bought it. Thank you, honey. Thank you. I could not come up with that this morning. I have had a horrible bout with my fibromyalgia, and my brain has been off. I mean, it has really been off. And I felt better this morning, and I thought, okay, well, you feel better. Well, everything is clear. Maybe you better get up. And I don't have my rulers up here either, so I'm using my other mat for a ruler. You need a good steady ruler if you're going to cut using a blade, which I do. This is a Fiskars, and even though you can't see it, there is a protective cap on it here. It's black. It comes out, and then you pull this switch to open it up, and you want to keep your hands back away from it. But anyway, we're going to go right down the edge of this right here, and I'm going to cut that off. Then we're going to turn this around, and I'll even this up because it is a little wonky. And that cut my salvage off. You don't want the salvage on it. I said leave it on, but you don't want it on it because you want to be able to to fray the edges. When you wash it, this will all fray out, and it'll be beautiful, and it'll be so soft. What? What's yours? What's yours? This quilt may be yours. What? Really? She is talking to me this morning. Okay, so now we have cut a block, and I got a little rolled edge. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to switch over here and get the one I pressed because I've already pressed one. And this, I'll use this for my back, and this will be my front. So our blocks will be the same. And then you know what you can do this with fat quarters. You can do this with a half yard of material. You can do this with a just what a sheet. You can make a sheet backing. So we're going to start now. We're going to take our this is my front and my back. I'm going to turn this one down and I'm going to make a sandwich out of my batting. So I need a piece of batting and I'm going to put it on here. And then I'm just going to cut with my scissors. Just turn it over and do a quick cutting. Girls, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you something about my scissors. I have had these scissors for probably 15 years now. I have used these for my paper crafting. And if you'll look, I've even got right here, I've even got some of the rubber rubbed off of them. These are Westcott scissors. They're not expensive, but they are super good scissors. I have cut paper with these, and did you see it go through that? It went right through that batting. I had to take them downstairs and wash them because they were so dirty, covered with glue and paper and everything else. This is hard for me to cut sitting down. It's not something I normally do. We're going to just cut right around these edges. Okay, just like that. Just trim around your edges. They don't have to be perfect because you're going to trim this out. But anyway, you're going to take your scissors and trim as much of that out as you can. Hi, Nancy. How are you? Glad you could join us. We're making a cottage rose applique, raw edged applique quilt. And we're going to go step by step on how to make it. And I just cut out 2 9-inch squares. Mine I'm making out of scrap material. You don't have to, except that I don't have an edge on this that will fray. So let's check the other one. I have 2 of them cut. Yeah, I do. Somewhere. Oh, I'm using it. Okay. Here we go. We'll cut. We'll just. Is this one 9? I believe it is. We'll just press this one up. 9 by 9. Make sure it doesn't have a salvaged edge. Because if it does, I'm in trouble. I don't believe it does. We may have to cut another one. 9. And there's 9. No, we're okay. I got it. I got one. What? Did you throw your Bubba down? How come you to do that? How come you to throw your Bubba down? So that I'd get up and come to you? Okay. This may be a little bit wonky, but I'm not going to worry about it because, like I said, we're going to sew this together and let the edges fray. So now I've got, this is my front. You lay the back down with this is reversed to everything you've been taught about sewing. You're going to lay it down with the good side down. These are 9-inch squares. You can cut them with scissors or you can tear them. This one's been tore. I'm going to lay this down on top of it. And then this one on top of that. And there's our quilt sandwich. Right there. Hang on. I've got some pins back over here. Or under here or somewhere right here. We're going to put a couple of pins in it just to keep it together. You don't have to do a lot of pinning. And we're going, on this. but you do need to keep them kind of together because we're going to sew the applique right on in the center of this. So you want to kind of line them up a little bit. I dropped that pin off the edge of my mat. Put a pin in each corner. Pull it down to meet, kind of smooth it out. And I have pressed these. Okay. Now there's our sandwich made. Now I have templates cut over here, and we're going to pick out our material that we want to put on the top of it. And I really love this material here. So I'm going to press this piece. And I'm going to lay this aside because we're done with that for a minute. And we're going to put this down. And I've made a template out of a piece of cardboard. I used a snack box, cracker box. These are made out of just paper, just construction paper. They don't have to be, you can make them out of paper. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to lay this right on the corner of this block because we're going to save some of this. We'll use some of that for this piece. So go to your corners. And if you can do it, and we're going to try it. We're going to put a pin right in the center of this to hold it down. Then we're going to take our scissors. And you can see I'm a little wonky, but it's okay. And we're going to cut around that. And this pattern piece, I started out with a square. Okay, this is 7 inches across. I made about a 7-inch square. I just freehanded it, so it's not true. But about a 7-inch square, and then just round the corners, and then dip in on the edges. That's your petals. These pieces right here are going to tend to be your petals. So hi, Joy. So I will make a set of these and put them on Inspired Art channel. And if you haven't joined it, come join us. It's a nice group. We don't do a lot of swaps, but we post a lot of inspiration about things. And I'm not even worrying if these are real straight on the edges because they're going to fray. Keep that in mind. You don't have to be perfect with these. But I'm going to have to pick that up because I can't do that. I got to raise it a little bit. And you can put a little bit of tacky glue on your pattern. I absolutely cannot do that. I've got to turn that over. Okay. And then raise it up. Feel for the edges of my cardboard there. Like I said, these don't have to be perfect because all of this is going to fray out. So you're going to, this is one of the simplest things that you can do is raw edged applique. They don't have to be perfect because you're either going to zigzag around them or you're going to, I'm out of frame, but I'm just feeling for the edges of my cardboard. I don't want to cut my cardboard. But my hands are not working this morning, so I can't control them down there. And I cut better when I'm standing. I don't know why. But anyway, and paper works better because it's a little more flexible. So I wish I had done that in that. So, but there's our first piece. And it is, you can see, is a little wonky. Go in with your scissors and trim it up because these are all going to be on different blocks. They're not going to be side by side. It doesn't matter if you're real deep in the center. It doesn't matter. These are all going to look beautiful when they're done. Okay. Now I'm going to grab another piece of material here. And let's see. I believe some 5-inch blocks cut that may work in red. if there's not a salvage on them. I don't think there is. We'll see if they'll fit that next pattern. And they will. So I'm going to use this, this, then this again for this pattern. And then I will use maybe a yellow or maybe another red for the other center. We'll just lay that one down there. And where's my other little piece? I should have a round one laying here. Did have a round one laying here. It's got picked up in my material, I'm sure. Okay, get this down so I can see what I've got here. There, it's on the floor. And then we'll go back to the dark red. And I think I have a strip of it here. May have some wonky edges. Yeah. It doesn't really matter. We'll use that one or this one. So that's how our pieces will lay out. This is the white one, the big one. Then I'm going to use this dark red. Now these are all scraps. Then I'm going to use this one. Then I'm going to go back to this one. And that's going to be our flower on our background. So now I'm going to cut out this one. This is paper. It should be a little bit easier to handle because I can put 2 pins in it. And I will recut that one and a piece of this cardstock because I can't handle that with my hands today. So I'll pin it here. And here. I'm going to pin it 4 times because, like I said, my hands are not working today. And yeah. And yeah. So we're going to just trim around this. And you don't have to be perfect. You know, I keep saying you don't have to be perfect because these are going to fray out. So don't worry about your edges being perfectly true. And this is a reason why I learned how to applique blocks before I started making quilt blocks. Because you didn't have to be perfect. And, you know, when you're learning to cut pattern pieces and those kind of things, it's easier. Put a couple there because I'm going to need them there. It's easier if you don't have to be perfect. So this is our next one, and it's going to lay in there like this. Okay. Now we're going to sew this an inch in. Each one of these will be an inch in. This has got to come back. I may want it flat in it. Like that. Because you're going to sew these down and then all of that will ruffle. So now we're going to do our next pattern, which will be this color again. You want your baba? Okay. I'm going to cut right around this. This material is a little bit thinner weight and it is a little harder to handle. Because I just went through my scraps and grabbed a bunch that I thought would match and didn't worry about what I picked or the weight. It doesn't matter. The weight. Okay. This will go here. And then we're going to cut our center out of this one. You know what? I've got a piece of red polka dot over here that I just think would make really, really cute centers. So I'm going to use my red polka dot. And I'm going to, because it is really a scrap piece. It's been cut all over for petals. And we're just going to cut around this circle. And we're not going to care that it's completely true. I freehanded all these. I just drew them out. Kind of how I thought they ought to be. And there's our center of our rose. Now I may go in here and curve off some more of these just because I didn't cut that pattern real well. I may go in here and dip in here just a little bit more and then cut off this a little bit because it's a little bit wonky. But we want to dip in. We want to have that curve. And then these will go in here. Then these will all be laid one at a time. And I hope I'm not going too fast. But these are all going to be laid one at a time on your block and sewn down. And your block will be finished. The whole block will be done. And when you sew them together, you will sew block and you will sew them about a 1/2 inch in, trim out your batting, and all of these will fray, and all edges of the quilt will be frayed. And they will be soft and cuddly and so fun to lay under. So make sure I've got a frayed edge going there, and I do. So that's why I tear them, because they fray better than the cut edge. But after you get this done, when you wash it, it'll just spray out. And the more you wash it, the more it will fray. But that's our flower on our background. And I'm going to lay it a little bit wonky because that way I think it shows up a little bit better, because this seems to be getting lost on this background, which I don't know if I like that. But right now it looks a little lost. And I may... That's a great big piece. I may want to cut another one. I don't believe this was a 9-inch piece. Yes, it is. Never mind, that can be a background piece. Let me see if I've got anything else for that bottom piece. Because I brought all my scraps in here, or as many as I could pick up. And let's see. My gosh, I may have a bunch of blocks here. That's a 10-inch block. So it would cut down for a backing piece. Don't want to do that. That's a 9-inch piece. No, it's not. Okay, we can use this. Let's try this one. We're going to just switch this up here a little bit. And I'll show you what I mean by using scraps, because you can just use, you can go to a garage sale. Let me cut another one of these. Because this is easier to handle. This paper is easier to handle. And somewhere under here, I have a pencil. Get these down in the floor now. I'm done with them. Okay, I'm just going to draw around this real quickly. But I started out, I just made a box. And then I just trimmed off the edges, dipped in, trimmed off the edges. I didn't try to make it real straight. So, okay. So that's our new piece. And I did help it when I trimmed on it a little bit. So I'll trace right around what I've already made and put these patterns in the groove. And I'll try to do them in a PDF so you can open them up and be able to trace them. Alrighty. There's us a new block. And let's preview this. Look how cute that'll be. I think I've got that upside down. Look how cute that'll be. That's going to be pretty. So that's going to stand. So that's what we're going to use. And I'm going to lay it right down here on this wonky corner. And pin it in the corners. And then I'll get my sewing machine over here and set it up. And we'll sew this thing. Hi, Vanessa. You're not too late. I can go over what I've done. Okay. Okay, there's my biggest pattern piece. Put on another piece of material. I'll not get rid of this one because maybe we can put this on that. See how much more it stands out on that one than it did on the one I had. So, okay, Vanessa, honey, if you're interested in quilting this, the first thing you do is you want to tear or cut 9-inch pieces. And you don't want your salvage on them. You want to make sure your salvage is off because you want these to fray. So all of this is going to go together. This is our sandwich. We cut 2 pieces of the blue, the bluish green, because it does have a lot of green in it, even though the camera doesn't seem to be picking it up. We cut a piece of batting to match it, and then we cut another piece. The only thing about layering it is you want the wrong sides together, not the right sides, the wrong sides together. And that's where a lot of people make their mistakes about doing the quilt as you go, because when you want to have a front and a back, and we're going to sew it all at one time. So we're going to cut out this piece because I have to have it for this block, and I'm going to just roughly go around it. Like I said, don't worry about it being perfect because all this will fray when you wash it, and it'll only fray to your stitching. So don't be afraid that it's going to fray out and be gone because it'll only go as far as your stitching. So that little nip there, and come around this. I'm out of the frame and cut that off, and then we're just going to dip in and get this and cut that little nip off. Okay, so there's our next piece, and I know that piece will fray because I've done raw edge with this piece before. But you want cotton. Cotton will fray, any cotton that you use. So there's the beginning of our cottage rose. Doesn't look like a rose, I know, but wait till we get the rest of it on there. And what did I do with my pieces? Right here. This is our second piece. And we're going to lay it right in the center of that. This is our third piece, and we're going to lay that in the center of that. And then this is my center, which is a little piece of polka dot, and that's our flower. Now, when you get this sewed down in here, these are going to start curling up and standing up. And when they start fraying, they're going to fray back as far back as you sew. So these will be really frayed. The edges will be really frayed. And then this will be, because we're doing a 1/2 inch on each side, it's going to come out to, I'm doing real well, Vanessa. We're going to have about, let's see, this is a 1/2 and a 1/2. So we'll have an 8-inch block when we're done. And then when you sew you know, you're not going to sew this edge until it's right at, but when you go all the way around that, you'll have an 8-inch block. And that's why I picked a 9. And because an 8-inch block is kind of standard, and depending on what you want to make, is the type of block that you want to cut. That still looks like a salvaged edge to me, but it is frame. So, okay. Yes, you hear my grandbaby in the background. She's playing with her little toy. I'm going to give this a quick little sew right here, or press. And my iron just turned off, so it doesn't want to press down. But it's got a fold in it, and that's going to be a pain if when we get to it. So the first thing I'm going to do, going right in the center. I'm not going to worry about the edges. I'm going to pin it right in the center. Okay, you can pin it as much as you want, but it's going to be easier to sew around it if you don't have the pins all in it. Okay, get my sewing machine set up. After I get the stuff out from in front of it, because I've not used it in a long time, and everything's piled up. Okay, I'm going to bring my little sewing machine, and we'll see if we can get this camera where you can see what I'm doing. This may be a problem, but we're going to try it. Straighten out there and come down. And nope, not there. Okay. And let me get my control up here so we can come out with that. Oh, shoot. I just want to minimize this, not enlarge it. Come on. Cooperate here with my hands. I don't know where everybody is, darling. I've got to find my webcam. It's under here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. I want to get it out on top. All right. Now, open that back up so I can see you. And now let me see if I can. It went away again. Where's my webcam? Why did you go away? Yeah, it's gone behind the picture, and I need to minimize the picture, and it don't want to minimize. That's large. Okay. Let me see if I can find it. It's moved somewhere. Okay, let me drop it down. And then pull you back out here, because I cut the picture off. On my side, I did anyway. All right, let's get you in here so I can see the chat. Now, let's see if I can pull that up and it'll come. There it is. There it is. Now I can control it. Okay, because I want to swivel it. Adjust the camera control. Okay. Oh, you're irritating me. It's too close and I can't get you in. frame here. Where are we? Let's see. Okay, I may have to come over my sewing machine. I know I'm upside down. Now we'll scoot this back and we'll try to come in like this. Okay. You can see it there, can't you? Okay. Now to try and thread all the way around that, because my thread is loose. Get my glasses so I can see that. And see if I can thread this needle. This needle may be a little big for this project because this is my, we're going to try what I've got on it. See if we have to change it. Okay, and I'm going to sew this with red thread. So I'm going to come right underneath here and I'm going to go a 1/2 inch out. You don't have to measure. My foot measures when you lay it down. This is a 1/4 inch. Now I have it set to zigzag. I have to get back over there. And I want about a 2-inch stitch line. Okay. So set to the center from here to the edge of this foot is a 1/4 inch. And most of them are like that. Now I got to get control of my foot pedal. Finding what I did with my foot pedal is the next question. I've got so much stuff behind me and on top of my desk that because I brought all my sewing in here. Foot pedal. There it is. There it is. Sorry. I thought I was ready. Okay. That's what I wanted, was for you to see where I was going with it. Okay, get that down on the floor so I can put my foot on it. You need to lay down, go back to sleep, little one. My grandbaby's right behind me here. My great grandbaby. She's chewing on a fish. You're chewing on a fish. Okay, plug me in back here. Okay, we're ready to go. Let's get rid of this keyboard. We don't need it back there. That'll be a pain. Get rid of some of the crafting. Like I said, I moved my sewing room into my craft room. Oh, I'm about to drop all of them. Oh, put them back there. Now we can sew, because we want this material to have a place to go when we're sewing on it. All righty. Go up there. Okay, we're gonna hope I've got it. And we are going to start out And since we're going all the way around, I'll catch that tail when I come back around. And you can see I'm taking a deep seam. And I'm straight stitching. Whoa, that may have been a little too deep. Too late now. It's where we went. It's where we went. Okay, I'm going to catch that corner of that and pull back. And pull this out. Nip the threads. Okay, so get this in the camera. There's the quilting on the back. So this block has now been quilted and is secure, and you don't need the pins anymore, except one to keep the center, the pieces in the that you pin on the flower petals, except for the flower petals. Okay, here's our second petal. We're going to take it. We're going to lay it where it lays almost in that seam, and it does, just almost perfectly. And we're going to pin it. I know this is right on top of you. I don't have any way to pan this out a little bit because I've had to pull my camera right down. So I'm going to put it under the sewing machine. We're going to start over here in this corner. And we're going to come around it. And I'm just estimating that half inch. You guys can measure it if you want to. You don't have to because these are flowers. So they're going to be wonky roses is what they're going to be. I'm calling it a cottage rose, but it's whatever you. Okay, and I don't even care if I get a little bit of a ruffle right there. Okay, because that's all going to go into the frame. Okay, so now we've got that cut, and then cut the back side. And there you've got your second round of quilting. Okay, I'd like to make at least 2 of these if I can get 2 done. And then we'll come back and do some more at another time. Okay, I just put the third piece on in the center. Now I'm going to go under the needle with that. And again, I'm going to go in that half inch. You want to maintain your half inch because that's your fray. And so I'm going to start out. Whoop! I just lost my thread. Didn't pull it out far enough. Okay. Up here. And what I used to sew with, girls, if you don't have a sewing machine and you're wanting one, let me recommend you that you go to Walmart and you buy a Project Runway Brother sewing machine. I have had this one. Well, actually, this is the second one I've had. I wore out the first one. But they're $89. You can, and this time of year, you can probably buy them for less. There's nothing fancy about them. They will do a zigzag stitch. But this machine has made more quilts than I can even count. This is the one that I go to. This is a workhorse. Hi, sweetheart. How are you, Misty? I'm going to make another one of these in a minute, so you'll see how I've done this. Um, anyway, this is a workhorse. It will sew paper. It will sew denim. I have sewed leather with this. This is a little workhorse machine. And so now we're going in our inch or half inch, and we're going to sew right around that. And try to give it a little bit of the petal shape there where it's it's a little harder to do when you're sewing smaller, but you still want to have a look of a petal in there a little bit, which I didn't right there, but oh well, we'll have one straight side. Okay, and then we'll pull this up, pull it off, clip my threads. You need to lay down, go sleep it. Okay, and now I'm going to put my circle for the center on this. And here's the circle right here. And this, you don't have to be any more careful than before. Go in and half an inch. And you're just going to move it around. Take it nice and easy. Take it slow. It'll get there. And we're just going to sew a little circle in the center. Because we don't care how much that frays. I didn't get my circle made, but we're going to. And just like that. Give it a couple of back stitches and pull that off. Okay. Now I'm going to move my sewing machine back and get my camera back up a little bit. What? Yes, I see your Baba. Okay. I got to get it off my mat there. Okay. Now, and we'll get this straightened out. And you can see maybe what I've done. I can't see over my sewing machine, but we can see what it's done. See if anybody else has come in. Yes. There isn't any closer, is there? Okay, so we've made our first block, girls. This is it. But now I'm going to show you what to do because this is an important step. You want to take your scissors. Oh my gosh, I can't see myself. That's bad. But we're going to come in here and you want to make a cut here. A cut here. Don't get too close. A cut here. And we're going to go all the way around this and we're going to snip this. Just snip it, snip it, snip it, spray. And that helps the flower bloom when you wash it. So we're just going to snip it in. Don't go past your cutting line. Not your cutting line, but your sewing line. And I'm going about a half inch between each one, maybe a quarter of an inch. They don't have to be perfect. Some can be little, some can be big. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's what I'm telling you. To sew and make something pretty, you don't have to be completely perfect. Okay, so you see what I did? I frayed all. Is what I did. See how they're standing up now? And when you wash that, all of those are going to fray out and they will look fluffy like that. Have I lost my camera? Oh my gosh. All right. It's been in a pixelation for some of you. Because I'm holding steady on that one, and that's usually not too bad. You may want to adjust your settings. I'm streaming on, this is set up for 720 at least. So if you're not on 720, hit your settings button at the bottom and go up to 720 and see if that helps. Okay, and now I'm going to cut the second line the same way. I'm going to fray this edge. Like I said, just don't cut into your sewing line because that's what's holding it down. And we're going to fray this out. And when you come back tomorrow for our next round, I will show you what they look like after they're washed. Okay. All right, now we got that one cut, and you just continue in, do all of them that way. Cut to your sewing line, not past. And I hope I'm still in camera. And I hope y'all are seeing this. Have I lost everybody? I'm not seeing any comments. Hello. Yes, it will look very pretty when it's washed because it will fray out and just be cute as a button. This may end up my little one's Christmas present. Okay, this one I'm coming in just a little bit, not going quite as far. I'm not cutting quite as far. I'm doing maybe a 1/4 of an inch because I don't want this one. It'll go ahead and fray, but it won't fray as fast, and your center will stay real true. You can cut it down to your stitching if you want, because it'll just fray out and be like a little pom-pom ball on it. So it's up to you, but I'm going to leave mine in just a little bit, so it takes a little longer to fray. But there's your flower, and when all of these fray out, all of those will go together, and that flower will come together. So, because you see how they'll stand up once it's washed and frayed. Okay, that's our flower. And I mean, I can rub over it, and you can do that. I mean, you can rub over it and kind of start the fraying just a little bit on it, because it just pretty darn quick. And that's the whole thing. And like I said, I made this pattern. This is not a true pattern. It's not a wiggly woggly pattern. It's just I cut a square and then I trimmed in. And so anyway, I'm going to do another one real quick. And don't worry that, see what's happened here? Don't worry that has come in like that. Because when you sew, that's just your stitching pulling it. When you sew, you can pull it back around and straighten it up. But right now, it looks kind of like that, like it's really, really off. But when you sew it together, you're going to pull that seam together, and you'll sew a straight line on it. So it'll be okay. Okay, I can't see what all is being said because I'm still not pulled out as where I need to be. I need to move some of this so I can adjust it. Come on. Come on over here. No. All right. Okay, Linda, did you try to go to 720? If it doesn't work, if it's really bad, I'm going to make a tutorial on it. You can hear her. Okay. Well, that's not good though, because what I'm saying is probably all wonky to what you're doing. Can you see it at all? Okay, that was my first flower. Now you can alter that. If you don't like that pattern, alter it. Where's my big piece? I'll use this cardboard. If you don't like how that looks, come in on it. Make you some petals. Come in and do this. Just cut you some petals. Yeah, it would help if I was in frame. They don't have to be perfect either. Come in and cut you a 4-petal flower. If you don't like the way this looks, cut your own. You can cut a 6-petal. You can cut a 4-petal. You can even cut individual petals just like that. And lay them down and sew it all the way around your piece. Just keep laying one down and sew it all the way around. That's how I make my daisies. Let me see if I can show you my daisy quilt real quick. You lay it on your phone. This. Let me want this for a minute. Whoa. Okay, it was in the baby's quilt. That. Okay. This is raw edge applique. This right here. This has been washed and washed and washed. It is starting to come up right here, but when it does that, I'll just lay my sewing machine down and I'll take a little stitch in it, and it'll be okay. It's this is all raw edge. It was done on scrap blocks, and I just made scrap by Linda. I'll try to make a tutorial for you, honey. So anyway, this is a scrap flower done out of white with yellow center, and I went around it with a zigzag stitch. So this is not frayed out, but here's my block. This is the way my block looks. I'll lay them here. This one's a heart, so ignore it. But right there's my block, and that was just done out of scrap material. And I started with a square center, and then I added one to the side of it, and then one to the top, and then one to the bottom, or to the side here, and then one across there, and then a large one to go to the top again. That's a log cabin block. So it is very simple to make. Square, but you don't even have to do that. This can be a solid square, and you've made a pretty quilt because you've put the daisies or the flowers in it. And these are flower petals cut just like I cut just a minute ago. Just like this. They might even fit because I pretty much, now they're a little bit bigger, but I just lay them down like that, and then lay it here, then lay it here, then lay it here, then lay it here, and then cut a center to cover it. Just cut that center to cover it. So that's my daisy quilt, and I put sunflowers on the back. Piece of material I had for a long time, and I put the sunflowers on the back and put a border on it. So all of this can be done basically the same way, except this one we're going to just do a 1/2-inch seam. So I'm going to do another block, and then I'll show you how to set it together. And they don't even have to be the same. If you'd like, girls, that petal block, we can use this, and I'll make a petal block. And we can have one that's a cottage rose and one that's a petal. So let's see. We'll use this for our back. Let me make sure it's the right size, and it's not. And it is a 10-inch, but I'm going to cut off of this side and make this a 9-inch block. Okay, let me find my other. I've got this one. Okay, we're going to start up here. Make sure we're right in the right location. You want to lay your piece of material flush with your lines, a line on your cutting board. If you don't have a cutting board, measure it across at 9 inches. Well, let me just do that for you. Measure it at 9 inches. Take your scissors. Can you see what I'm doing? Make a nip and tear that off. Now I'm at 9 inches. When you get it pulled up over to your line, you're at 9 inches. Now I probably have to make this one 9, so I'll turn it around. I'll nip it at 9. And sometimes they don't tear real straight. Let's make sure we're tearing straight. Okay. If it stops like that, you're going with the grain, and it will not always tear straight. So then get your scissors, mark your line, and cut it to as close to 9 inches as you can. These are all going to be frayed, so it doesn't matter if it's perfect. So this is going to be the back. I'm going to give it a press. Okay. I can't cut straight. I'm telling you, I can't cut straight. My iron had got shut off. Go back and do that again. And I like to use spray starch on all of this stuff when I'm working. Even my little pieces, it makes them easier to cut or to sew. So there's our piece. Look how wonky I am. Can you see that curve? Woohoo. Hello. So go back in, pick the thing up, kind of eyeball. Okay. That looks a little bit better. There's our 9-inch. Okay. I need a 9-inch piece of batting. Which that's not going to make one. I put it behind me. What you know? Let's see if it. Okay. My batting. Here it is. I had to check on the baby. Okay, we're going to lay this down. I can see that red through that one. So we're going to cut a piece of batting right around the edge of my block. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be cut out when you make your seam. That'll have to be cut out because your batting won't fray. Okay. Come off the edge there. And turn. I've used my mats for craft mats till it won't slide. Don't cut your block underneath it. You know, this is something that you would want to set down and cut 9-inch squares on your batting, so you're ready to go with them. Your backs and your batting. I just decided to do this morning. I had no idea what I was going to do, but I knew I was going to come online. And I was on Pinterest And I seen this quilt and I thought I want to make that. That's just how fast I decided I would do it. So, okay, we've got that. Now I'm going to use my green piece on top of this one. There. No, because that'll make us two green ones together. Don't want to do that. Let's see. What else have I got cut? I've got this one. This is a 9-inch. Close enough that it's not on this side. So let's nip some of that off of there. Tear it off. Now we're at a 9-inch. Or close enough. Because I'm telling you, this is a good beginner quilt because you don't have to be perfect. You do not have to be perfect. Hi, Sybil. Oh, honey. It's so good to see you. I've been thinking about you. Okay. Okay, I press that one down a little bit to bring it out to the edges. And there's our bottom. And turn this one over because our back has to go this direction. So when our squares go together, this will go to this. So that's the way my blocks are going to be. So now yes, you want bio. She wants bio, baby. She wants bio, baby. That's my lullaby to her. She's saying bio, baby. So she's wanting me to sing, and you know, what? Go to sleep now, baby. Close your eyes. You said she got up real early this morning, so she's probably getting close to wanting a nap. I'm getting hot. Okay, now I've got to cut me some pieces for a flower, and I'm going to make this petal. We're going to have two different flowers on here, so I'm going to make this my petal pattern. Okay, and I'm going to get let's see. How would that look on it? Don't like it. You're getting carried away over there. You're getting carried away. I had a piece here that I wanted to use. And I've thrown it down. Okay. Too light. I bet that would work. Okay, so to make the petal pattern, and we're going to do this as we did our other one. Cut it down. Okay. We're going to cut around it, and I'm cutting it just a slightly larger because I want a pretty good seam allowance. There's one. Okay, let me get in frame so you can see that I'm cutting this slightly larger. I'm adding just a little bit to it because I just cut that on a whim. And since we're doing a ragged edge, I want it to be big enough to rag. And there's the second one. And then our petals will lay together like this. Okay. Don't know if I'll have enough of this to do it or not. I may have to go to a different piece and alternate my colors. We can do that. We're making a fun quilt. You can alternate your colors. You can go pick out material if you have to buy it. That will be perfect in your mind's eye what you want, and then cut it all out of the same material. I'm just using up scraps. So, and what I'm saying to you is don't try to be perfect. Nobody's perfect at what they do when they first start. If you've sewn before and you know how to cut and you know where to go and you know how to make your patterns or whatever you want to do, then yes, you're going to do it a little differently. That's okay. You'll get there. You'll get there. Okay, I've got enough for one more, and I think we can spread them out. This one may be slightly smaller, but I'm not going to worry about it as long as we get one more out of that piece of material. So this one may be a little bit wonky. Come up on there. There we go. Yeah, we're okay. Okay. This one is just slightly smaller. Okay, now I'm going to lay them out here, and I'm going to pull them out where I want them. Just like that. There's our flower. There's our flower. Okay, now I'm going to cut a circle to go in the center. And I don't have yellow out here because I wasn't thinking centers to other flowers. So we'll cut a piece of this red checked, and we'll make that our center. And there's another flower ready to put on our quilt. Remember, when you sandwich them together, to put the wrong sides together. Your material needs to be wrong sides together. That's the biggest mistake that you can make in one of these quilts. Now I'm pinning each petal right in place where they were. I moved that one just a little bit right then. Didn't mean to, but I did. But we'll just put it back down. Right underneath that circle. And on this one, that circle is going to be the first thing because I'm going to have to come out and I'm going to have to, in order to catch all the petals, I'm going to have to do a zigzag stitch on that. The rest of it will be straight line stitching. Okay. All righty. And if you don't have a sewing machine and you want to make one of these can be stitched by hand. That can be stitched on by hand. You can just do a straight stitch all the way around them, and they will fray right to your straight stitch, and then they're good. You want to take fairly small stitches. Okay, we're going to bring back in the sewing machine and get up close and personal again. Get it here where we can get it down here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, a little bit more. There we go. Okay, I'm going to lay this under here. Pull my threads down and out. Get them ready to go. Okay. I'm going to zigzag this circle down first. And I am going to use a zigzag stitch. So I'm going to go up to about a 3. And my petal, it has gotten moved. When I pushed it back, it moved, didn't. Okay, here we go. Slow down, Mary. We're going to do a zigzag right around the outside edge of this. And this is still considered raw edge applique. lift my pressure foot up a little bit because I caught that flower. We may just zigzag all of this one. I don't know. Now I want to pray. So I'm going to watch my pin there. I don't want to catch it. And right there, I'm going to do a back stitch and pull it out. Knit my threads. So turns it loose. There's our first piece of stitching on the quilt. That's the way the back will look, start of it. And then we're going to go around these flowers. We're going to come in a ½ an inch around each one of them. So we're going to start right here. I'm going to start a ½ inch and then I'm going to spread out because it's going to be a little tight. Whoop, I need that there. Please, go back up there. Okay, here we go. All right, now I'm going to spread out just a little bit. Come right around that. Make my petal. Take that out of the corner. Okay. There's the first one. That's the way it looks on the back. So when you get done sewing that, or if you want to do them as you go, or if you want to fray them all at one time, whatever is fine. But you want to knit to your seam, just like that. Can you see what I'm doing? No. Knit to your seam. Sing bio, baby. Sing bio, bio, baby. I hope you can still see what I'm doing. I'm going to nip it right on around to the bottom. Yeah, you're singing it. You're singing it. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Okay, and then this petal, we're going to do it the same way. We're going to start here. Don't let that thread come out. Okay, and I backed up just a little bit because I haven't got anything to catch those. So I'm going to come right around. Sew these petals down. Lift up a little if you have to. Come right down, and I've got a little bit of a fold in each one of them right there at the bottom. I'm not going to worry about it. You'll not see it once they are all frayed out. Knit my thread, nip it off the bottom, and there's the back. See how far in it is? That's okay. Oh, honey, well, good. Thank you. Okay, and then we're going to come in. This is what I'm trying to make as easy in a quilt block as you can possibly make. And these are one of the easiest that I know of to make. They are going to be sewn together. They're backed, front and back. This is Quilt As You Go. And you just, it's going to be finished. You can sew these together and your block will finish up. Make sure that's, no, that is that. And I need to pull it out just a little bit. Okay. Come back here and go under the foot, please. Thank you. Okay, right here, I'm starting. I'm giving it a little back stitch, and you'll want to do that on each side when you stop. You want to give it a little couple front, couple back, and then sew around the edges. You don't know how to sewing machine and you've got one and this is your first one, go slow. Go slow. Smooth it down till you're comfortable handling it. Just slow it down to whatever's comfortable for you. You don't want to rush it. You don't want to stress yourself. These do not have to be perfect. We're going to get right here. I'm going to go into the center just a little bit, back a little. That's going to lock my stitch. We're going to pull this one out. I probably have a whole bunch of quilters thinking that I'm crazy. I'm telling you, don't try to be perfect. Just enjoy it. Enjoy this process. If you're a perfectionist and you think you have to be perfect, then you need to go watch somebody else, because I'm not going to tell you that. I am not going to tell you that. This is quilting. Whatever you're doing should be fun. If that's what it takes for you to be fun, then by all means, do whatever is you. But me, I like to make these. I like to give them, and I like to see them used. And I don't care how they're used. I want them to be played with. I want them to be carried. I want them to be put on the beds. I want them to be slept under. I want them to be wallered around on the couch. This is what I'm making my quilts for. I'm making them to use. I'm making them to use. I'm not making a showpiece. I am making them to enjoy my life with. Well, I didn't come all the way around that one. I just kind of stopped in the middle of that. You know, life is too short. Shoot, I didn't get in. I didn't do this one. Life is too short to spend 2 years making a quilt to have it perfect. Unless you're a quilt artist and that's what you want. If you're wanting to make quilts that you can enjoy, then make them. Just make them. You don't have to be, they don't have to be perfect. And there's not a quilt block out there that you can't make and let them be a little bit, there's some of them that you have to be pretty accurate on the cutting. I'm not going to tell you there's not, because there is. And I have made them. I enjoy them very much. That's the reason why it's applique, because I can design my own quilt. I can decide what I'm going to have on it. I can put a rabbit on it. I can put a bug on it. I can put a flower on it. I can put whatever I want on that quilt. If you can print it off on a computer on a piece of tracing paper, you can put it on this fabric and you can enjoy it. Whatever it is, you can enjoy it. I got to find the end of my thread because it's got to have a little more tail. Okay. Now I'm coming forward a couple of stitches, back a couple, then I'm going to come right around this one with a big wide seam because we want it to fray. You may decide that's too far apart. You can go in there and put another petal on it because you've made your whole quilt right here. You don't have to worry about sewing another petal on or a leaf in there or whatever you want to do. You can go back and you can re-sew on this. You can go right in the center of it and put an elephant if that's what you want. And that's what I like about it, is that you can be creative. Let your creative juices flow on these. Have fun with them. Do whatever. These should be. I have made art quilts I have made art quilts. I have made trees and monkeys and things like that on my quilts. I have put baby quilts. I have drawn puppies and have them in the on the ground playing. You can, if you can draw it or you can trace it and lay them down, you can make this however you want. Hi, Lolly. How are you, honey? We're making a raw edge applique quilt as you go rag quilt. And I'm glad you could be here. And then back a little and lock your stitch. And that's our last petal to sew down. Now we've got two to clip, and then this patch can be sewn to the other. And you can clip your threads now, or you can clip them as you go around. Okay, I'm going to take the pins out of the corners and off the petals. Put them over here in my tray. I have a little magnetic tray that I keep my pins on, which is, you lay down, go sleeping. You lay down, go sleeping. What you doing up? You're tired. You're tired. I can see it in your eyes. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That is cool. The nice thing about these is once you get them made, girls, if you like it real well, you can put this on the front of a book. If you're, if you're so inclined, you can do whatever you want to. You can make a pillow out of these. You can do whatever you want to with them. This is your creation. It's not somebody else's. There's nobody got this pattern. I made it this morning. This is my pattern. So, I don't care to give it to you. I don't care to share it with you. You can have it. It's nothing hard to do. You saw me cut that petal out. I do have a petal here for a leaf, and I am going to put it on. I'm going to cut a piece of green. I've got it laying over here. And we're going to put a leaf on this one. There's one of them nipped. And I'll get over here to this one. We'll nip the edges of this. I'm going to go get a little bit faster here. You can do this with little scissors, and it's a little bit easier to control. And I'm doing these a little bit closer together than I was on the other one. Okay. And cut it to there. Okay, we're all ruffled. Now I'm going to rough it up here. Okay, I'm going to take this block and I'm going to put wrong sides together, not right sides. I got to move that back a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to put the quilted sides, get the thread off the back of that one. Okay. The quilted sides are going to lay together. Wrong sides together. Now, ignore your batting. Bring your pieces up so that they're together. This one, we said we was going to have to bring it up because it had twisted just a little. We're going to do that. Get your 4 ends together on the corner. We're going to come in exactly 1 inch. And that looks a little bit smaller than my other one. That may be a problem, or maybe I'm up over it. It looks like I'm up over it. Bring it down just a little bit. Oh, much better. Okay. And come over. Okay, here we go. I keep sliding. That and keep sliding. I'm sorry. I may have to pin it because it's being a little bit of a bear. I'm going to pin it. That material's a little bit slicker. So I'm going to pin this edge right here. So it'll stay where I want it to go. I'm going to go to the corner. I'm going to come down and I'm going to sew a 1/2 inch in. Lift these up if you have to. No, don't go over your pedal. Okay, you don't want to sew your pedals down. We're going to go a 1/2 inch in. Got a little bit of a turn there. Okay. I'm going to come a 1/2 inch from the corner. I'm going to turn this whole thing around and we'll lift my feet up. Turn the whole thing. Just pivot it. Just turn it like that. And then come down the side. Now, I'm not completely straight on these blocks. I ripped them. I'm not going to worry about that because I'm sewing them at the same width all the way around. So they're going to end up the same. So there's that. We're going to turn that. I may have got a little too close to that edge. Don't worry about that. We're going to pull this in. We're going to come down as close as we can because I'm a little bit short on this edge. When it all frays, you'll never see it. Come down to this corner. Put your needle down. Pivot. And we're going to come back down to this corner. Come on. Do a little 1/2 stitch right there. Oh, girls, why did you let me do that? Why did you let me do that? I ain't making a pot holder. I'm making quilt blocks and I sewed that all the way around. My gosh, what was I thinking? I was having fun sewing. That's what I was thinking. You're having fun sewing. I haven't been at my machine since I made those placemats. Okay, this has got to be took apart. Now you're going to see the fun part. Well, no, I'll just tell you, we made a placemat this morning. We'll start the quilt tomorrow. We've made a placemat or a trivet. Okay, I got to go find my seam ripper. Anyway, girls, I have made a mess out of this now, and I am so embarrassed because I just was sewing away, talking to you, and so not watching what I was doing. Pull that in. Let me go find my seam ripper. I brought one up here and thought I laid it here on the desk. Oh, Lord, if you only knew what this floor looked like. Hi. Hi. How are you? Yeah. Okay. All right. This is a good one to post on Twitter. She sewed a quilt block all the way around. Sewed it together. Okay. I'm going to find me a corner I can get started in here, and I'm going to take this apart. And I'm going to take this apart. Pull that stitch back out of there. Okay. Here we go. Get in frame here. You can show what it's like to pull it apart. If you're going to do it this way and not this way, just picking each thread, be careful that you don't splice your material. But I hate picking each thread because they're tight. So I just wiggle my in there until I can get a grip on it. And I bought these cheap, and then you can tell they're cheap because they don't have a cutting edge that's worth a darn. This down in here is a cutting edge. Can you see? Let me see if it'll focus in. See how it's beveled? That's a cutting edge. Come on, focus out. Focus. Oh, focus. It's trying. But you see how that's beveled in there? That's a cutting edge. So once you get it in the right spot, you can just glide it in there. But I'm not getting it to go in here for some reason. Cut another thread. Okay. Now you're going to make me mad because you do this all the time. I'm going to turn it over. And sometimes you just grab a hold of it and rip the thing. Rip it out. Which is what I'm doing on this. Take another stitch out. And pull. Another stitch out. Eventually, these will be all sewn around anyway. Oh, I hate ripping out stuff. Now, this is where I become the perfectionist, and I should have stopped my mouth and sewn. Because I can't talk and do two things at the same time. Okay, I've got 5 people left in here. I must be buffering really, really bad. Is everybody gone? Is everybody gone? Okay, I'm about to get it so I can show you what a quilt block looks like put together. And there's not something you can't fix. If it means appliquing another flower on it, that's fine. Applique another flower on it. Make a little hole in it. Put another flower on it. These are to use quilts. They're to be pretty. You want them to be pretty. I'm not saying don't make them pretty. I'm saying you don't have to be perfect. Look what I did. Lord, I've made dozens of quilts. And here I am. Ripping stitches. Kathy, are you leaving me, honey? Am I buffering too bad for you? I see Patricia. That's the only one I'm seeing. Okay, Vanessa's watching and cleaning. And okay, there's Lolly and Vanessa. Okay. I'm about to get it down to the bottom. I know I'm out of frame, but I'm just pulling them stitches apart now. Got tired of cutting. Okay, there we go. Ooh, I've got some threads on it now. Okay. Now there's our 2. Let me get that out of the way. Here's our 2 quilt blocks put together. Okay, I'm going to come up and get this sewing machine unplugged and out of the way. Okay, here we go. I got to get my threads off of it. And clip these. And I got threads laying in it because I just pulled them. Okay. And what you want to do when you get them sewn together like this, and you can see I didn't make it, got a piece undone right there. I'm going to have to put my sewing machine back together on. But I'm going to show you how to fray the edges. And then tomorrow we'll do it again. We'll do some more. Because we're going to make a quilt. I'm going to make a quilt. Okay. When you get here, this edge is sewn together and it doesn't need to be. So we're going to pick out that sewing. See, I picked the wrong edge to start on. I didn't do it. I didn't do my starting edge. I done the pivot edge. Okay. You're going to loosen that up to the stitch, the bottom of the stitching. I'm going to pull this out right here. All right. Okay. Now, you see this batting in here? This batting, you're going to have to trim out. So you want to get on both sides of it, pull your pieces down, and this trim just as close to that material as you can get. You don't have to go all the way down, but trim it as close as you can, like that. And then do it on the other side, right in here. Do it over here. There's a lot of cutting in these quilts because you have to nip the edges to get them to fray right. Well, it helps. It helps speed up the process. I don't guess if you want to nip them, you could, you could pull threads if you wanted to pull threads out of the sides, but not me. Not me. Well, I want them cut because I don't want to have a tangled up mess when I wash them. Okay, now we got that one cut out, except this corner, and I've got to work on this corner. Okay, then you're going to take it here, and you're going to cut these pieces. Don't one at a time, Mary. Pieces just like we did the other ones. We're going to nip down into the material, down to your sew line. Just like that. And this is something you can do when you're sitting at night watching TV or doing something like that. I'm a little bit off there, but I'm going to catch it like that. And this is the end that I need to work on anyway because I've let it slide. Then we go over here and we do this next piece. I got that ready. And we're going to do this one, and we're going to go to our sew line. This is on the bottom one. We're going to come right up it and cut to our sew line. Okay, get my other pair of scissors out here. These are my sewing scissors. I'm finding the tip of that dull, and that's because I've tried to cut wire and everything else with those scissors. But they're good scissors. And these are not much better in the tip. Okay. So get your scissor blade down in there, Mary, and cut that. Okay. So I've done that first time. I had both of them at one time. And I'm just going to kind of follow along down there and cut it. And cut. And cut. And cut. And cut. And cut. And cut. And then when you get to the corner, I always just kind of do an angle cut like that. Okay, that's the corner. And that is your frayed edge. And that's the way it will look when it's put together. And these will fray, and this one will fray. And now I have a daisy and a rose. So there's our, whoop, I got too far back. I'm sorry. Let me get me back in frame here. I hope you've seen me cutting that. I nipped all the edges. I cut out the batting in between. There's our quilt blocks put together. Okay. That's our quilt box. Here's the back all put together. And there's our quilting on each block. Okay. I hope you can see it. And this is running a little wonky, but it's because I cut the wrong edge. And I've got to sew that together right there. And like I said, don't worry about it being a little wonky. They look a little wonky sometimes because of the batting hanging out of them. See, you can see that much batting coming out. I can trim that back a little bit, and you'll see that that edge is not that wonky. You know, it's because we're fluffing them out. And there's your. So tomorrow, we'll do some more flowers. That was using these templates. I will post those on the Inspired Art channel. If you're not a member, please sign up and join us on Facebook. It is Inspired Art. And then here's the petal piece right here. And I will do that. And then I have a leaf piece cut, which is just a little bit smaller. Oh, no, right here it is. Here's the leaf. So this is my leaf pattern. So there they are. And I'm not going to keep you on any longer because I know I've been buffering. And I will sit here and make a couple more if my baby will cooperate. Right now she's doing okay. But I've got to give Thomas medicine and I've got to take mine. And I'll do a tutorial and I will post it in case this buffered all the way through it. And if it did, then you can watch the tutorial and choose not to watch the live stream. And I understand that. But I wanted to go on this morning and try it. I've got to call the internet company and see if I can't get a better signal. It's I'm paying for I'm paying now for a power boost that I had done not too long ago. And I had good signal for about 2 weeks, and then it dropped out. So they're going to have to come fix it because I can't handle this. My upload speed was 0.97. My download speed is at 2.87, and it should be way higher than that. 0.97 is not hardly even a number when you're uploading. So that's the reason why I don't have a good quality stream, is because I'm uploading at the same time that I'm filming. So yeah, this has got to be and change. So, but anyway, there's our start of our quilt, and we'll do some more blocks. I think we'll just do the 2 patterns. We can variate them, around the quilt. There will not all be red because I don't have that much red. In fact, I've got some blue laying down here in the floor. That is roses that I'm thinking about using and cutting these up. That's okay, honey. You use caps so I can read it better. Say, yeah, I'm going to try to do this. If I can't do a live stream, I'm going to try to do a tutorial every day till we get a quilt made. And, you can stop at any size. I probably am going to make just a baby quilt, and I'm making this for my little one and give it to her for Christmas because I have nothing else for her. And she's got all the clothes in the world. She's got lots of grandparents buying for her. This great granny, I think I may be the only great granny she's got right now. I don't know. But this great granny is going to make her a quilt. So Anyway, this is for the little one in her box over there. That's what I call it, her playpen. And she's content in it. So I hope so, honey. Just know that you can do this. Whatever, you can do this. Whether it's paper crafting or whether it is fabric, you can do this. This could make a book. Look at there. You want a book cover? Do 2 of them. Let me get my book here. Put you a book back there. Pull it over. Glue your edges down. And there's you a book cover with a feathered spine. Glue it down. So don't think if you only want to make 2 that they're not worth keeping, because they are. Because look what you can do with them. Oh, good. Oh, good. Because this is just, this is, and look what a pretty book that would make. When this is all frayed out, this is going to be lovely when it's all frayed out. This is going to be so pretty because it's, I don't know if you've seen, look up rag edge quilts on Pinterest if you can, or on Google, ragged edge quilts, and you'll see how pretty they are when they're frayed out. Hi, Linda. Well, actually, I was going to, but right now I'm holding pretty good, and we're just talking. I've made a rag edge quilt this morning, a couple of quilt blocks. And what I've been saying, it is simple. It is simple, Lolly. I tore these blocks. I tore them. I nipped them at 9 inches. If you've got a tape measure of any kind, a ruler, you can. This is all torn. This whole block is torn. You can't tear your templates, but I'm going to give you the templates. I will post these. I'll try to make a PDF, and I will post these on Inspired Art. So be sure and go to Facebook and look up Inspired Art. Let's see if I can pull the link up here real quick. I think everybody in here is cotton. You want to get cotton quilting. Oh, bye, oh, baby. Bye, oh, bye, baby, bye. Bye, oh, baby. Bye, bye. I didn't enter an old password. I did. Bye. Bye. Oh. Bye. Bye. Okay, I can't get into Facebook for some reason. I've not got the right on this computer. Yes, I was singing. I was singing to the baby, and she was singing. Bye-o, bye-o, baby. Oh, would you throw your baby out? This baby? I'll put both babies in. And your blanket in. And you threw them all out, didn't you? That's why you were over here having such a good time. What baby? What other baby? Excuse me just a minute. We've got to get the toys up. Okay. Quit throwing them out because I'm not going to do this again. While she was singing and swaying, she was throwing toys out of her crib. So we sing by Oh Baby. Yeah, the baby was singing too. She sings by Oh Baby. But anyway, I will put this. Yes, Linda, Patricia, if you could you post the link to Facebook to Inspired Art, please? And I don't know why, but my screen has completely changed now. Everything is highlighted. And it's completely changed. But actually, it looks better than it has. What we done? Have you ever made a quilt, Linda? I've got to go down and give him his medicine here pretty quick, but he's doing really well. Right now, he had a cluster of seizures that really, really worried me. But what I was telling him is that my Facebook, yeah, it just said I had the wrong. Well, I don't know. It could have been. That would help. Something needs to help it. My internet company is going to have to help it because I am tired of this. I'm paying a lot of money for it now. I pay $75 a month for just my internet connection. Hey. Sing by Oh Baby. Can you sing by Oh Baby? Sing by Oh Baby. So the girls can hear you. Sing by Oh Baby. You want to see, you girls want to see her. But what I've been telling the girls is that you don't have to be perfect to make a quilt. This is an easy way to make it. This is Quilt As You Go. We're going to build this as we go along. And we've got 2 blocks made. And it's took me a while because I've talked through it and I've had the baby and I've missed, didn't have it really ready to go. But here's our 2 blocks. This is the back side of it. This is the way it will look. And it is already quilted. And every piece that you put on it will already have been quilted. So it's a really good way to make a quilt. Super easy for beginners. You just have to, this one we built with this pattern. Just one leaf. This piece here. And I don't know why I'm reversed right now. Probably because I messed it with the camera so much. But yeah, this piece here, we done with this. This is a fast process, and that's the reason why I like it. Because when you get a quilt block done and sewed together, you've got it quilted and sewn and pretty and ready to go. Secret is let them fray. And these don't have to be perfect. You do not have to be perfect at this because all of these edges, see, I don't even have that sewed there. I missed that. I had to tear this one out. But all of these edges are going to be sewn in a 1/2 inch seam. So if you are off a little bit and you've got a 1/4 inch seam right there, when this frays out, There's nobody going to know it. Who's going to know that that seam is a 1/4 inch instead of a 1/2 inch? Not a soul. Not a soul will know that. These quilts, I make quilts to use. I don't make them for public display. I'll display my quilts with the best of them. And wouldn't be, and I might not win, but I'll put them up because my quilts are used, they're loved, they're worn out, and that's what I want in a quilt. I want my quilts to be loved and used and worn out because that's what a quilt is for. To wrap around you and get warm and be happy under it and snuggle and cuddle and play and have fun under it. It's to build tents with and to be happy with, and then to hand down to the next generation because it'll still be holding together. You might have to patch it a little, but it'll still be holding together. And when at the end, you can cut a teddy bear out of it and make a teddy bear, and you still have part of your quilt. You do not have to be perfect. It isn't necessary. And a lot of the quilters are going to tell you, and anything else, you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful about the placement of your seams and how you cut out your, well, not, you can applique on them and not have to be perfect on that. But when you're putting your blocks together, you do have to be very careful because they are not going to have 1/2 inch seams. They're going to have 1/4 inch seams, and they're going to have to meet. The corners are going to have to meet. They're going to have to come together. And, so when you do something else, yeah, I want my corners to meet here. This piece needs to match up with this piece. That, yeah, you can make a quilt out of anything. Now, those are some of the hardest quilts there are to make. They're easy on one hand and hard on another because t-shirt material is a little bit hard to sew. But this is, it's a fun starting quilt. And if you do nothing but put 2 together, and like I was showing you when you come in and put you a book back in it, you have accomplished. I'm going to get a little smaller book this time because that other one was too big. Okay. Fold that under. Fold your top under. Fold that seam under, just like you normally would. And you can bind a book with it. They are not wasted. And this, you need to wash it because this has to, iron on stuff, But once this is washed and that's all frayed, this is going to be beautiful. So you would have to wash this, and you would have to sew your seam together here and cut part of it out so that you could glue it down, or you could take it to your sewing machine and sew it down. I've started this for an altered book, so these pages are already bound down, and this is going to be an altered book. But I just took a notion to want to quilt. So anyway, I'm going to post these to Inspired Art. Go there. You can pick up your templates. If anybody else watches this, I will give the dimensions. This started out as a 7-inch square, and then I just rounded out the corners and drew in to make a little bit of a petal shape. It was not hard to do. This started out as a 5-inch square, and it came down. It started out probably as a 6-inch square, and it actually comes into almost a 5-inch here. So anyway, these will be posted in the group, these templates, along with the leaf one that we did not use. I was going to make a leaf real quick. I will cut one out and show you what it looks like with a leaf. I've got some green stripes right here that will make a leaf. Here's the beauty of appliquing and making scrap ones is it doesn't make any difference what kind of material that you use. I'm going to cut this off right here because I'm just going to use this corner and I'm going to freehand this one. I'm going to, good morning, Marina. I'm going to circle around that top right there. I'm freehanding this leaf and we're just going to cut that out like that. And there's your leaf that you can make it a little smaller if you want. That's a little big for that pattern. Let's cut it a little smaller. We're a little big on our leaves. So like that, you can tuck a leaf in wherever you want to on there. So I'm just show you what I would do with it. I think I may have gotten a seam right there. No, I didn't. Okay, there we go. I still think they need to be a little bit. I rounded that out too much. Here's the problem. Let's not round that leaf. Leaves are not round. There we go. All right. And that was just freehand. So we're going to lift this up. I would lay those down and I would sew around them just right in here. Just make a little oval shape and cut them the same way and let them fray too. And there's you some leaves on your quilt. Just like that. If you make a hole in it, if you make a hole in this, cover it with some leaves. Nobody's ever going to know. If you don't want those ragged, you can zigzag them down. I zigzag this center down. You see how it's flat? Now it's going to, everything else is going to fray. That is not. This one is going to fray. This one's going to come up and fray. So you can do this any way you want to. It doesn't have to be hard. Don't make it hard. Make it fun. If you run into a problem, message me. I don't mind talking to you. I'm telling you, I don't mind at all talking to you. So if you run into a problem, just let me know, and we'll walk through it. And I'll try to put this on a tutorial, and we'll do this probably step by step instead of doing it online. And I may come up with another pattern for a flower. We've started out with a couple of basics. We can do another one, make it look a little bit different. We're going to change colors. I've started with red. We're going to change colors. They're going to be blue. They're going to be purple. They're going to be yellow. They're going to be whatever I can scrape up, because I'm using my scrap fabrics up. And so I love you all, and I'm going to get off here and go give Tom his med. We are about done. It's been a rough stream again, and I've got to call the internet provider and jump them because, like I said, I'm paying $75 a month, and I've not gotten hardly any stream at all. So I love you all, and thank you so much for coming in. I haven't been on enough that I am kind of losing my my watchers. So if you can share it for me if you would. I'd rather you share my tutorials. But yeah, I'm going to give them. What are you messing with? She threw something. Oh my gosh. Okay, I better get this baby out of this crib and get her downstairs and get her something to eat and get Tom something. And I love you all, and I will give them hell because they have really irritated me now. They're taking my money, but I'm not getting anything for it. And that I don't want. So I will. Would you please leave that alone? You're going to break my plate behind it. She's messing with the box over there that's hitting my plate. Okay, girls, I got to get off of here and get her straightened up and get things taken care of. Love you all. Bye-bye.